Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth while others struggle no matter how hard they work? What if I told you there's a forbidden secret, a specific set of words so powerful that when spoken aloud, they can literally bend reality and command money to flow into your life overnight? Some truths were never meant to be widely known. That's what makes them dangerous and incredibly powerful. Florence Scovel Shinn knew this. Throughout her teachings, she hinted at this profound secret, but never dared to shout it from the rooftops. Because if too many people understood and spoke these words with true conviction, the very fabric of reality itself would begin to crack and reshape. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Has this ever happened to you? You find yourself constantly struggling with money despite your best efforts, watching others succeed with seemingly less effort or talent? Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal could fundamentally change how money responds to you for the rest of your life. The shocking truth is that you've been using this command your entire life without even realizing it. Every time you've sighed in frustration about your bills, complained about never having enough, or joked about being broke, you weren't just expressing feelings. You were issuing binding commands to the universe, and reality has been faithfully obeying. That's the hidden mechanism behind why the wealthy tend to stay wealthy while others remain trapped in cycles of lack. It's not about luck, inheritance, or even education. It's about the words they speak with absolute conviction. The universe doesn't discriminate. It simply executes whatever commands you issue with your words, whether consciously or unconsciously. What you're about to discover might surprise you, because the wealthiest people in the world rarely share this secret openly. They don't have to tell you. If you listen closely to how they speak about money, you'll hear the difference. Where others say, "I can't afford it," they declare, "I always find a way." Where others complain, "Money slips through my fingers," they state with certainty, "Money flows to me easily." The secret I'm about to share with you isn't just another positive affirmation or visualization technique. It's far more powerful and potentially dangerous, because once you understand it, you can never go back to speaking carelessly about money again. You'll recognize that every word that leaves your lips carries the force of law. And Florence Scovel Shinn discovered a specific command, a precise arrangement of words, that when spoken with absolute authority, forces money to respond with no resistance, no delay, and no questions asked. The evidence is overwhelming, with countless people waking up to unexpected windfalls the very next day after speaking these words. If you're ready to continue this journey of financial transformation, hit that subscribe button now. I share powerful declarations and hidden principles that most will never discover. The moment you truly grasp this hidden truth, you cross a threshold from which there's no return. It's like taking the red pill in that famous movie. Once you see reality for what it truly is, you can never unsee it. Every word you speak from this moment forward carries a weight, a resonance that vibrates through the very fabric of existence. This revelation marks a fundamental transformation in how you'll perceive your relationship with money for the rest of your life. Think about it. Haven't you been told since childhood that wealth accumulation is a slow, grueling process? That financial freedom requires decades of sacrifice, tireless grinding, and frankly, a hefty dose of luck? This mindset has been carefully cultivated throughout society, creating an invisible ceiling that keeps most people trapped in cycles of scarcity and limitation. But what if this narrative was deliberately designed to keep the masses from discovering their true power? The hidden truth that Florence Scovel Shinn discovered is that money responds to authority, not effort. It obeys commands, not wishes. It flows toward certainty, not hope. The wealthy elite have known this for generations. It's not their education, connections, or even their actions that primarily generate their wealth. It's the unwavering certainty with which they speak about money. When you examine the journey of self-made millionaires, you'll notice a fascinating pattern hiding in plain sight. Long before their bank accounts reflected abundance, their language transformed. They stopped speaking the dialect of lack and started issuing declarations of certainty. This subtle shift created ripples in the universe that eventually manifested as tangible wealth. The impact of this revelation can be jarring at first. Many people experience a moment of profound discomfort when they realize they've been unconsciously sabotaging their financial reality through careless speech. But this uncomfortable awakening is actually the first step toward genuine liberation. It's the moment when you reclaim your power from the invisible forces that have been governing your financial reality. Behind the scenes of every overnight success story lies this fundamental principle at work. What appears as luck to the untrained eye is actually the precise execution of universal law. Money doesn't resist those who speak with authority. It can't. Just as gravity doesn't debate whether you deserve to fall when you step off a cliff, the law of commanded wealth doesn't question whether you deserve abundance when you speak with finality. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining exactly how money responds to your voice. The mechanism is surprisingly simple, yet profoundly powerful. It operates whether you're conscious of it or not, whether you believe in it or not. It's as impersonal and reliable as mathematics. Input determines output, regardless of intention. The decisions you make about how you speak of money from this moment forward will either empower or limit you. There's no neutral ground once you understand this principle. Every phrase that leaves your lips either commands wealth toward you or pushes it away. If you're feeling a sense of recognition as I explain this, as if something deep within you always knew this to be true, write in the comments, "I've always sensed this power." This intuitive recognition is your higher self acknowledging a truth it has always known, even if your conscious mind is just now catching up. Let's explore what money truly is at its core. Despite all the emotional baggage we've attached to it, money itself is perhaps the most obedient force in our lives. This revelation completely transforms how you'll perceive wealth from this moment forward. Money has no ego, no personal agenda, no ability to judge your worthiness. It doesn't sit in some cosmic boardroom deliberating whether you deserve abundance or not. It simply responds to commands with perfect, unwavering obedience. This is the hidden truth behind those lucky people who seem to manifest financial windfalls out of nowhere. Their journey wasn't marked by superior talent or fortunate circumstances. They simply discovered, either consciously or intuitively, how to speak to money in a language it understands. They issue commands rather than wishes, declarations rather than hopes. The most profound awakening comes when you realize you've already been demonstrating this principle throughout your entire life. Think back to moments when you were frustrated about your finances. Perhaps you exclaimed in exasperation, "I never have enough to cover everything." And like clockwork, your bank account reflected that exact reality month after month. Or maybe you've repeatedly told yourself, "Making money is always such a struggle for me," only to find yourself perpetually climbing an uphill battle. These weren't random coincidences or bad luck. They were precise demonstrations of this universal law operating with mathematical precision. Your words weren't merely expressing your reality, they were actively creating it. The blueprint for your financial circumstances has been flowing from your lips all along. Behind the scenes of your financial journey, this mechanism has been silently orchestrating everything, responding to your verbal commands with unfailing accuracy. The remarkable thing about this discovery isn't just that it explains your past struggles, but that it offers immediate access to transformation. You don't need to wait years to change your financial situation. You only need to change the commands you're issuing. The pathway to abundance suddenly becomes clear once you understand this principle. Money doesn't need to be convinced, persuaded, or impressed. It simply needs to be commanded with certainty. This explains why some people can lose everything and rebuild their wealth quickly, while others remain trapped in scarcity despite years of hard work and practical knowledge. Subscribe now to unlock more of Florence Scovel Shinn's forbidden teachings. Each video reveals another layer of authority you can reclaim in your financial reality. What's particularly fascinating is how this principle operates regardless of your belief in it. Just as gravity doesn't care whether you believe in it before pulling you toward the earth, this law executes your verbal commands whether you're conscious of it or not. Your conscious awareness simply allows you to deliberately harness a force that's been operating automatically all along. Let me ask you, can you recall a specific phrase about money that you've repeated throughout your life? One that seems to have manifested with startling accuracy? Type, "My money phrase was," in the comments and share the words that have been unknowingly shaping your financial reality. Understanding your patterns is the first step toward consciously redirecting them. Think of reality as a cosmic recording studio, constantly capturing every word you speak about money. This isn't a poetic metaphor. It's a precise mechanism, operating behind the scenes of your financial life. Each declaration you make is permanently etched into the universe's ledger. And of all the things that respond to these recordings, money reacts with the greatest speed and precision. It's as if money is constantly hovering nearby, listening intently for your commands, ready to arrange itself according to your verbal blueprint. This revelation illuminates one of the most profound mindset differences between the wealthy and those struggling financially. If you study how truly prosperous individuals speak, you'll notice a distinctive pattern. They rarely complain about money or express lack. Instead, they consistently use phrases like, "Money flows easily to me," or "There's always more than enough," or "Opportunities are everywhere." These aren't just positive affirmations. They're declarations that reality faithfully executes. The hidden truth is that these individuals didn't become wealthy and then start speaking this way. The sequence was reversed. They adopted this commanding language pattern first, which then created the corresponding financial reality. Their journey toward abundance began with a transformation in how they addressed money, long before their bank accounts reflected it. In stark contrast, those experiencing ongoing financial challenges unknowingly sabotage themselves through a completely different speech pattern. Listen closely to their daily conversations, and you'll hear a constant stream of limitations. "I can't afford that. I'm always broke by the end of the month. Money just slips through my fingers. Why is everything so expensive?" These aren't innocent observations. They're powerful commands that reality has no choice but to obey. What's particularly fascinating about this universal principle is its complete impartiality. It doesn't evaluate your worthiness, your past, your education, or your social status. It doesn't care if you're speaking from a mansion or a studio apartment. The law responds with identical precision to everyone, executing whatever is declared with authority. This explains why some people from humble beginnings rise rapidly, while others with every advantage remain financially constrained. The difference lies not in their circumstances, but in the commands they consistently issue. Understanding this mechanism allows you to witness how your financial decisions actually materialize twice, first in your words, then in your reality. The gap between these two events may vary, but the connection is unbreakable. Every financial circumstance you currently experience was preceded by a verbal declaration that summoned it into existence. The most liberating revelation in this journey of discovery is that you can consciously redirect this power starting immediately. You don't need anyone's permission to change how you speak about money. You don't need to wait for external circumstances to improve before adjusting your declarations. The authority has always been yours. If you're beginning to see evidence of this pattern in your own life, write in the comments, "My words create my wealth." This acknowledgement is the first step toward consciously wielding the power you've unknowingly been using all along. Now we arrive at the heart of why these teachings were kept hidden for so long, shared only in whispers among those who could handle their weight. This wisdom was considered forbidden because the initial revelation is genuinely terrifying. Imagine the moment of awakening when you suddenly realize your voice has been law all along, that every struggle, Every financial limitation, every missed opportunity wasn't random bad luck, but the direct manifestation of your own careless words. This awakening forces you to confront the uncomfortable truth that you've been the architect of your own limitations. Every thoughtless complaint about bills, every casual joke about being broke, every frustrated declaration that money is so hard to come by. These weren't innocent observations, but powerful commands that reality faithfully executed. The universe wasn't punishing you, it was simply obeying you with perfect precision. What makes this revelation particularly unsettling is the realization that you cannot escape accountability for your own words. There's nowhere to hide from this truth once you see it. The trail of verbal breadcrumbs leading to your current financial situation becomes painfully clear. For many people, this moment of clarity is too overwhelming to face, which is precisely why these teachings remained obscured. But here's the transformative breakthrough that changes everything. The very same mechanism that created limitation can immediately begin creating abundance. If your careless words had the power to manifest financial struggle, then your deliberate words have the exact same power to manifest prosperity. The process doesn't distinguish between negative and positive commands. It simply executes whatever is spoken with authority. This is the profound insight that Florence Scovel Shinn captured when she stated, "Your word is law." She wasn't offering a motivational phrase or poetic metaphor. She was describing a precise mechanism as reliable and unwavering as gravity itself. Just as gravity doesn't occasionally take a day off from pulling objects toward the earth, this law doesn't sometimes fail to execute your verbal commands. What's particularly liberating about this revelation is that the transformation in your financial reality doesn't require years of incremental change. It can quite literally happen overnight. The moment you begin speaking with the authority of someone who commands rather than begs, the universe begins rearranging circumstances to match your new declaration. Money doesn't resist this shift. It simply flows toward the new pattern you've established. Think about how this understanding completely reframes your financial journey. You're not gradually working your way toward abundance through endless effort and sacrifice. You're simply correcting a misunderstanding about how reality responds to your voice. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've been all along, the one whose word is law. The decision point you face now is whether to continue speaking unconsciously, allowing careless words to create by default, or to begin speaking deliberately with full awareness of the creative power you're wielding. If this perspective is shifting something fundamental in your understanding, type in the comments, "I'm reclaiming my power of declaration." When this understanding truly permeates your consciousness, something profound shifts in how you approach every sentence you speak. Words that once seemed casual or innocent suddenly carry the weight of binding contracts with the universe. That offhand joke about being perpetually broke at dinner with friends? You're signing a cosmic agreement. That frustrated mutter about bills piling up while checking your account? You're issuing a command that reality must fulfill. This heightened awareness can feel overwhelming at first, like suddenly realizing every careless word has consequences you never anticipated. Think of it as developing a new level of consciousness about the invisible architecture of your reality. Where before you might have casually complained about money without a second thought, now you pause, recognizing the creative power vibrating in your throat. This isn't about becoming paranoid about every word. It's about awakening to your role as the primary architect of your circumstances. The revelation transforms your relationship with language itself. The journey of transformation begins with this uncomfortable reckoning, facing how your habitual speech patterns have been silently shaping your financial blueprint. But don't remain stuck in regret about past declarations, because within this sobering responsibility lies the most extraordinary gift you could possibly receive. The identical mechanism that executed your words of limitation will execute your words of abundance with the exact same precision and power. If your declarations of struggle were binding, then your declarations of prosperity are equally binding. If the universe faithfully manifested the reality you commanded when you said, "I never have enough," it must, with the same unwavering obedience, manifest the reality you command when you declare the forbidden. Phrase that Florence Scovel Shinn discovered. Money doesn't get to vote on whether it responds. It doesn't have the option to resist or delay. It must align with your authoritative declaration. This explains why those rare individuals who discovered this secret and dared to whisper the forbidden phrase often experienced such dramatic overnight shifts in their financial circumstances. They weren't gradually improving their situation through incremental effort. They were issuing new commands that reality had no choice but to execute. Unexpected checks arrived in the mail. Opportunities materialized out of nowhere. Debts were suddenly forgiven. Not because of random luck, but because they had activated the exact same mechanism that had previously kept them limited, only now in reverse. What makes this revelation particularly powerful is that it doesn't require you to become someone else or acquire new skills or resources. You've been wielding this creative power all along. You've just been wielding it unconsciously, often to your detriment. The path to financial transformation isn't about gaining something new, but about redirecting something you already possess, your authority to declare and command. The impact of this understanding ripples through with equal precision when you speak the forbidden command with genuine authority. This perfect symmetry is what makes this revelation simultaneously terrifying and liberating. The identical power that created limitation through unconscious speech can create abundance through deliberate declaration. Your past patterns and mistakes become completely irrelevant the moment you speak with true authority. There's no karmic debt to pay, no penance required, no waiting period to endure. The transformation begins the instant you issue your command with finality. The decision point that stands before you now is whether you're truly ready for this level of responsibility. Are you prepared to release those comfortable patterns of begging, wishing, and waiting that have characterized your relationship with money until now? Are you ready to accept the profound responsibility that comes with knowing your voice literally bends reality? Are you prepared to speak with the authority of natural law itself? This isn't a casual question. It's the fundamental turning point in your journey. Because once you step into this level of authority, you can never return to the comfort of victimhood. You can never again blame external circumstances for your financial reality. You can never again pretend your words are casual or inconsequential. The veil has been lifted, and you now stand face to face with your own creative power. The revelation transforms your entire understanding of personal evolution. Most people believe transformation requires gradual, incremental change, small steps taken consistently over time. But what Florence Scovel Shinn discovered challenges this entire paradigm. When you speak with the authority that money cannot resist, the transformation isn't gradual, it's immediate. Reality begins reorganizing itself the moment your declaration leaves your lips. Behind the scenes of every financial miracle is this same principle at work. What appears to outside observers as unexpected good fortune is actually the precise execution of universal law responding to authoritative declaration. The only variable is whether this power is being wielded consciously or unconsciously. What makes this approach particularly revolutionary is that it doesn't require external resources, specialized knowledge, or advantageous circumstances. It doesn't matter where you're starting from, what limitations you've experienced, or what obstacles stand in your way. The only thing that matters is the quality of authority in your declaration. When you speak with finality, money doesn't get to vote. It doesn't get to resist. It must align with your command. If you can feel that you're approaching a fundamental threshold in your consciousness as we explore this principle together, type in the comments, "I choose to command, not beg." The moment has arrived to cross the threshold from theory into revelation. What I'm about to share with you isn't motivational content or inspirational theory. It's Florence Scovel Shinn's most carefully guarded teaching distilled into a single powerful declaration. This isn't just another affirmation or visualization technique. It's the fundamental command that explains why certain Individuals seem to experience a completely different relationship with money than others. Have you ever wondered why some people speak about money with such unwavering certainty? Why fortune seems to follow certain individuals effortlessly while eluding others regardless of their efforts? The hidden mechanism behind this disparity isn't education, connections, or even action. It's the quality of authority in their declarations. The wealthy elite have discovered, either consciously or intuitively, how to address money not as supplicants, but as rulers. The air feels different now, doesn't it? There's a weight to this moment because deep down, you recognize we're approaching something transformative. Your journey through life has been preparing you for this revelation. Every struggle, every disappointment, every moment of financial frustration was leading you here to this exact moment of awakening. Florence Scovel Shinn understood the dangerous power of this command. That's why she only hinted at it in her teachings, wrapping it in parables and metaphors to protect it from those who weren't ready for its implications. She knew that once spoken with genuine authority, this declaration initiates a sequence that cannot be stopped. Reality itself begins reorganizing to match the command. The forbidden phrase that makes money move without resistance or delay is this: my voice is final. Money has no choice. Feel those words resonating through your consciousness. This isn't a wish, a hope, or a request. It's a verdict delivered with absolute finality. When you speak these words with the authority of someone who commands rather than begs, you're establishing a new relationship with reality itself. You're declaring that your word is law, and money must align with your declaration. The profound impact of this command comes from its fundamental transformation of your identity. You're no longer positioning yourself as someone who hopes money will come your way or wishes circumstances would improve. You're declaring with unwavering certainty that your voice, your declaration, is the final authority. And money, being perfectly obedient, has no option but to respond. This revelation illuminates why affirmations often fail while this command succeeds. Affirmations are typically spoken with hope, with wishfulness, with a subtle undercurrent of doubt. But this forbidden command carries none of that weakness. It's spoken with the same unwavering authority that created the universe itself, the recognition that when law is declared, reality must bend. If you feel a profound shift occurring within you as you absorb this revelation, as if something fundamental in your understanding of reality is being restructured, write in the comments, I speak with finality now. Now I want to explore how to properly embody this command to maximize its impact on your reality. When you speak these words aloud, my voice is final. Money has no choice. It's essential that you feel their resonance throughout your entire being. This isn't about volume or intensity. It's about the quality of authority behind the declaration. Feel the words vibrating from the core of your identity, not just passing through your lips. Notice how fundamentally different this approach is from traditional manifestation practices. This isn't a fragile affirmation that requires endless repetition to overcome your doubts. It's not a prayer offered in the hope that some external force might grant your request if you're worthy enough. This is law. Your voice becomes the gavel in the cosmic courtroom, and when it strikes, money must respond. There's no debate, no resistance, no delay, just perfect, unwavering obedience to your declaration. The transformation in how you use this command comes through understanding its fundamental nature. Many people have attempted manifestation techniques with mixed results because they approach them as psychological tools rather than cosmic laws. They repeated affirmations while secretly harboring doubts, essentially canceling their own commands. But this forbidden phrase works on an entirely different principle. It's not trying to convince your mind of anything. It's establishing your authority in the universe. This leads us to the precise implementation that Florence Scovel Shinn discovered works with remarkable consistency. Each morning, before engaging with the distractions and demands of the world, speak this command once, not repeatedly. Because law doesn't require repetition to be effective. Think about it. A judge doesn't strike the gavel 20 times. A ruler doesn't issue the same decree over and over. They declare once with absolute finality, and reality restructures accordingly. Tomorrow morning, before checking your phone, before allowing the world's noise to pour into your consciousness, stand tall and state with unwavering authority, "My voice is final. Money has no choice." Don't whisper it hesitantly. Declare it with the calm certainty of someone who knows their word is law. This single declaration, spoken with genuine authority, initiates a sequence of reorganization in the universe that cannot be stopped. What makes this morning practice particularly powerful is the timing. In those first moments of wakefulness, before your conscious mind becomes cluttered with worries and limitations, there exists a unique window where your declarations carry heightened creative force. The veil between your consciousness and the universe is thinnest in these moments, allowing your commands to imprint directly onto reality without the usual resistance of habitual thinking patterns. The decision to implement this practice represents a fundamental milestone in your journey, the moment you transition from unconscious creator to deliberate architect of your financial reality. You're no longer leaving the structure of your life to chance or default patterns. You're actively declaring the blueprint that reality must follow. If you're feeling a sense of alignment with this approach, as if it resonates with something you've intuitively known but couldn't quite articulate, share your commitment by writing in the comments, "I declare with authority each morning." Now, I want to explore the precise sequence of how this transformation unfolds once you begin speaking with this level of authority. When you first declare, "My voice is final, money has no choice," the initial shifts may appear subtle, almost imperceptible to anyone who isn't paying close attention. You might notice conversations about money beginning to tilt in your favor. Perhaps an unexpected credit appears on a statement, or a refund you weren't expecting arrives. A stranger might offer you exactly what you need at precisely the right moment. These seemingly minor manifestations are actually the first visible signs of a profound reorganization happening beneath the surface of your reality. What's fascinating about this? Progression is how it accelerates once you maintain consistency in your declarations. Those initial coincidences begin multiplying at an increasing rate. Opportunities that would have remained invisible suddenly appear in your path. Doors that seemed permanently locked swing open without resistance. And most remarkably, substantial sums of money begin appearing where there was previously nothing, not through mysterious windfalls, but through channels that were always available but remained inactive until activated by your authoritative command. Behind the scenes of this transformation is a fundamental restructuring of your relationship with abundance. The universe isn't suddenly becoming more generous, it's simply responding to a different quality of command. Where before you were unconsciously directing it to create limitation, you're now consciously directing it to create prosperity. The mechanism hasn't changed, only the direction of its operation. This leads to perhaps the most sobering realization in this journey of awakening. You've been using this law unconsciously throughout your entire life. Every time you declared with frustration, "I can't afford it." Every time you sighed, "It never works out for me financially." Every time you joked about being perpetually broke, you were issuing binding commands that reality faithfully executed. The limitation you've experienced wasn't punishment or bad luck, it was the perfect manifestation of your own verbal verdicts. The revelation transforms your understanding of your financial journey. You haven't been struggling against external forces keeping you limited. You've been experiencing the precise reality you've been commanding into existence through your speech. The breakthrough comes in recognizing that the identical mechanism that created limitation will create abundance with equal precision when you reverse the direction of your declarations. This understanding releases you from the endless cycle of external strategies that never quite work. The reason those approaches have been unsuccessful isn't that they were flawed, but that they were being neutralized by your unconscious declarations of limitation. No financial strategy can overcome the binding commands you issue through your speech. But when you align your verbal declarations with your financial goals, everything shifts. What makes this approach particularly powerful is that it doesn't require you to change your external circumstances before changing your declarations. You don't need to wait until you have more money to begin speaking with authority. The sequence works in reverse. You speak with authority first, and then reality reorganizes to match your command. If you're beginning to see how your own speech patterns have been creating your financial reality all along, type in the comments, "I'm taking command of my declarations." The power of this revelation extends beyond your individual experience into the realm of collective transformation. Don't simply absorb this information passively, allowing it to become just another interesting concept that fades from memory. To fully activate its potential, you must declare it publicly. Write it down, speak it aloud. My voice is final. Money has no choice. This isn't about seeking validation from others. It's about stamping your authority into the very fabric of existence through decisive action. When you declare this command publicly, you're doing something profoundly significant. You're making a covenant with reality that cannot be broken. The act of writing it down transforms it from an ephemeral thought into a tangible decree. Speaking it aloud allows its vibration to ripple through the physical world. These deliberate acts of declaration seal your authority in a way that merely thinking about it never could. What's particularly fascinating is the amplification that occurs when thousands of awakened individuals declare this command together. It creates a resonance field that accelerates the reorganization of collective reality. Think of it like tuning forks vibrating at the same frequency. When multiple declarations align, they don't just add together, they multiply, creating waves of transformation that shift the entire field of possibilities. This explains why certain ideas or practices seem to reach critical mass and suddenly spread rapidly throughout society. Now let me prepare you for what will likely happen tomorrow morning when you first implement this practice. As you wake up and prepare to issue your declaration, the old, doubtful voice will attempt to reassert itself. This is inevitable. It's simply the momentum of habitual thinking patterns trying to maintain their position. This voice will whisper things like, "What if this doesn't actually work? What if I don't deserve abundance?" This sounds too simple to be effective. This moment represents a critical juncture in your journey of transformation. Instead of engaging with these doubts, trying to reason with them, or convince yourself they're not true, you simply strike again with your declaration. My voice is final. Money has no choice. The power of this approach is that it bypasses the endless loop of mental debate and goes straight to the verdict. Watch what happens in that moment. Doubt literally dissolves in the presence of law. It's not that you've convinced yourself the doubts aren't real. It's that you've established a higher authority that renders them irrelevant. This is the profound difference between psychological techniques and cosmic law. Psychology tries to change your thoughts. This forbidden command establishes your voice as the final authority regardless of what thoughts may arise. The implementation of this practice marks a decisive turning point in your identity. The moment you stop perceiving yourself as someone who hopes money will flow into your life and start operating as someone who commands it with unwavering authority. This isn't arrogance or delusion. It's simply aligning yourself with the true nature of reality and your position within it. If you recognize the unique opportunity this revelation represents in your journey toward financial sovereignty, write in the comments, "My declaration is law." Let me take you now into the practical implementation of this principle in your daily life. This isn't just about morning declarations. It's about fundamentally shifting how you respond in real-time financial situations. Think about what typically happens when you're looking at prices or facing financial decisions. The default response for most people is some variation of, "I can't afford this," or "That's too expensive for me." These seemingly innocent observations are actually binding commands that reality must execute. The transformation happens when you interrupt that habitual pattern in the moment. Instead of defaulting to limitation, you declare with quiet authority, "My voice is final. Money has no choice." This isn't about ignoring financial reality or making irresponsible decisions. It's about shifting from victim consciousness to ruler consciousness. You're no longer someone who asks permission from money. You're someone who commands with certainty. This practical application reveals the profound identity shift at the heart of this teaching. Most people position themselves as supplicants in their relationship with wealth, constantly checking to see if money approves of their desires or choices. But Florence Scovel Shinn discovered that this relationship works in reverse. Money is designed to serve your declarations, not the other way around. When you flip this dynamic, everything changes. The revelation transforms even the most mundane financial interactions. That moment at the register, when you would normally check your balance with anxiety, becomes an opportunity to silently declare your authority. That conversation about a major purchase that would typically trigger limitation. Thinking becomes a chance to establish your voice as final. Every financial decision becomes not just a transaction, but a declaration of who you are in relationship to abundance. What makes this approach particularly powerful is how it completely bypasses the endless cycle of financial strategies that never quite work. Most people spend years jumping from one technique to another, constantly seeking the external solution that will finally create lasting abundance. But Florence Scovel Shinn's revelation cuts straight to the core mechanism. The quality of authority in your declaration is what determines the flow of money in your life. From this moment forward, you have the opportunity to walk differently, speak differently, live differently. This isn't about putting on a show of confidence or pretending to be something you're not. It's about remembering your true identity as the ruler, the lawgiver, the one whose voice is final in determining your financial reality. This awakening isn't becoming someone new. It's returning to who you've been all along. The journey of transformation begins with carrying this authority into every room you enter, declaring it in your private moments, sealing it through your consistent speech patterns. As you do, you'll witness doors opening that previously seemed locked, wealth flowing through channels that were invisible before, reality reorganizing itself around your commands with a precision that defies conventional explanation. The decision point you face now isn't whether this principle works. Reality will demonstrate that with unmistakable clarity. The question is whether you're ready to step into the full authority that has been yours from the beginning. If you feel something shifting within you as we explore this principle together, write in the comments, "I am the lawgiver of my reality." You've now been entrusted with something profound, a principle that has the potential to transform not just your financial reality, but your entire relationship with abundance. This isn't just information to passively consume, it's wisdom to be lived. The declaration, "My voice is final, money has no choice," carries power only to the extent that you embody it with genuine authority. If you felt something resonating deeply within you as we've explored this teaching together, I invite you to take the next step in your journey. Subscribe to join our community of conscious creators who are rediscovering their power of declaration. Each video builds upon these foundational principles, offering practical implementations of Florence Scovel Shinn's most transformative teachings. I'd love to know if this message found you at exactly the right moment in your journey. If it did, simply write, "This found me at the perfect time," in the comments below. Your experience might be the exact confirmation someone else needs to begin their own path of transformation. If this exploration has provided value on your journey, consider leaving a like, not for algorithms, but as an acknowledgement of the connection we've established through this conversation about the power of authoritative declaration. The principles we've explored today are just the beginning. I've created a video that takes this understanding to an even deeper level, showing you how to apply this command in specific financial situations for maximum impact. Click the video appearing now to continue